Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. The only the technical staff, obviously. Right. Okay. Welcome everyone to Breakfast and Learn. Welcome to Rabbi Moshe Davis, who is Reverend Levin's next door neighbor. Hence, that's how we got you. Welcome to our shul, Rabbi of the what's your shul called? Abbas Torah shul, and also the Rosh Hashiva of Torah's Time. Wow. Okay. Okay. We're very honored to have you with us this morning, and just going to admit this person to Zoom, and over to you to give us some words.
Good morning. Good morning. It's lovely to have this beautiful minion. It's really nice to see you. It's a really nice surprise to have a very pleasant minion. I want to start with thanking Hashem. They say you can choose your friends, you can't choose your neighbors. I just want to thank Hashem for being the most wonderful neighbor we could ever wish for. We're wrong. Thank you. Before we start with the Ma'aser Shel Heard, a story that never happened. I once went to eat in a really, really swishy restaurant. And black pass only, usual. And we come to the door and there's this button. The button's really high-class restaurant. And as we come to the door, any middle-aged lady says, are you a mother-in-law by any chance? Says, well, turn left. You can't go and eat in the regular restaurant. We've got a table for mothers-in-law. Sorry, I'm allowed these jokes here? So anyway, the meal gets on, and all these poor women are this long table which has figures on it, and they all have to sit on this table. And as our dinner's progressing, the waiter comes around with his towel and the thing, and he goes to each table and says, at each table he passes, he goes, "Is everything okay? Fine. Is everything okay? Fine. Is everything okay? Fine." And then he goes to the figures table and he goes, "Is anything okay?" Okay, so we'll try and focus on this idea. This week, we're going to read Parshat Zachor. Parshat Zachor is to remember the mitzvah to eradicate the memory of Amalek, right? Our question is, on the face of it, it looks like we're commanded to eradicate a nation. Is the Torah racist? Is the Torah racist? On the face of it, it looks like we're supposed to eradicate a nation. That's a shot. It looks like it. It looks like it on the face of it. Right? Now, there's a bigger question. There were millions of Yidden in the Midbar. There were 600,000 men between 26. There were millions of Yidden in the Midbar. They were all protected by the Anania Kavod, the clouds of glory. And the clouds of the Anania Kavod absorbed any missiles or anything that was thrown at the Yidden. They absorbed any harm. There was no harm that could reach the Yidden. So how on earth are Amalek able to attack the Yidden? If they were protected by the Anania Kavod, how were they able to attack the Yidden? It was impossible. What could they do to the Yidden? Right, it's a very famous question. What do you think? That's the answer. We're coming to that, yeah. Okay, so what is the essence of Amalek? So I heard a beautiful word from my father, Shlita. May have a Rosh Shalema. His name is David Cheskil Ben Shadel Gittel. A really beautiful word. Gemara Chulin asks, where do you find Haman alluded to in the Torah? Gemara answers, the pasuk Hamin Ha'itz Hazeh. When Hashem asked Adam Rishon, did you eat from the tree of knowledge, from the forbidden tree? On the face of it, this Gemara looks, what's the connection between the tree of life and Haman? Just because the same three letters, you've got Hey, Mem, Nun, why is that connected to Haman? And the Gemara doesn't explain what the connection is. My father said a beautiful text follows. Haman, who was the epitome of Amalek, you can imagine what Haman's life looked like. He was the prime minister of 127 different countries. And you work out, there must be millions and millions of citizens in all these countries. And every single one of them had to bow down to him. Every single one of these millions had to bow down to him. There was one old Mordechai must have been in his 90s because he was alive in the times of the first place. Mordechai must have been in his 90s. There was one old Yid that didn't bow down to him. This man's got millions of people that are bowing down to him. One old man that's not bowing down to him. And what did he say? My life's not worth living. There's one old Yid, one Yidala. Imagine what struggling he was. Imagine today you've got somebody, let's say Putin or something like that. You've got millions of people bowing down to him, and one old Yid sits in the doorway and doesn't bow down to him. You just ignore it and move on. But Haman ate him up. That little Yidala in the doorway that didn't bow down to him, he couldn't take his Chol Zayin and Shavali. If you look at Adam Rishon's situation in Gan Eden, You can't imagine the bliss he was surrounded by, the ruchnius and the gashmius. You can't imagine how many trees there were in Gan Eden. Yeah, Hashem sent it one little tree, just that little tree of knowledge. Please don't eat from that tree. Please don't eat from that tree. And that was the tree that the serpent tempted him, Chava, to eat from. That brought us downfall. What brought Haman's downfall? That one little, if he would have ignored Mordechai and just accepted everybody bowing down to him, the millions and millions of people, he would never have come to the downfall that he came to. He would have carried on being prime minister of 127 countries. But because he couldn't take that little niggly yidala in the doorway, caused his complete downfall. Same thing, Adam Rishon was in Gan Eden, surrounded by dozens of trees, all the bliss that we can't begin to imagine, and one little tree he was forbidden to eat from, and that was the tree that brought his downfall. This is the essence of Amalek. Amalek, in life, we've always got so much to be thankful for, so much to be grateful for, so much, there's so much to enjoy. It's human nature. We tend to focus on not human nature. It's the negative, destructive force within us that tends to focus, in any relationship with our partners, with our neighbors, with our children, with our friends. There's always something, oh, this gets on my nerves, that gets on my nerves, this problem. Instead of focusing on how wonderful people are, how special people are, we sometimes focus on the little niggles in life, and that brings terrible downfall, can ruin a marriage, ruin a relationship, ruin a friendship. I'm blessed to be the other way around, that our neighbors only see the good in each other. And that's what builds the street. The Torah view is the exact opposite. When there's a small fault, you ignore the fault and lift up the person. You look at each Yid and each human being, in fact, as a Tzelem Elokim. And each Yid is a Chelik Elokim Mimao. And how special they are. They got one little thought, no, let's build the Yid up. Let's build everybody up. The Nazis, Yamach Shemon, they killed disabled people. That's how the Rishon started. Why? He's disabled. He's got a fault. Kill him. You never know. A disabled person, you take somebody like Stephen Hawking, most brilliant scientist. He's disabled, right? And the Nazis would have killed him. And all the science would have gone to the wall. Think about it, yeah? And because they looked at the fault the person had rather than the good that person has. So Yid looks at the pintle of good that we have in each other, and we build on that. Even if somebody has one pintle of good, you see Avram Avinu davened for Sodom. He said, if there's 10 people, Sodom, they were the most wicked people on earth. He said, if you find 10 people in this place that are tzaddikim, save the whole Sodom. They were wicked people. So if there's a little bit of good, we build on that little bit of good. Amalek's the opposite. If they find the teeniest grain of negativity, the whole thing tarnished. Everything's bad, and that has to be destroyed. And as he said before, the Yidden were protected by the Nana cupboard, but they were nechshalim. You work it out. There were millions of Yidden that were protected by the Nana cupboard. How many were there? 2 or 3 Yidden that weren't up to scratch. It was spiritually weak. They were weak people, spiritually weak people, and they were outside the Nana cupboard. And these 2 or 3 people were the ones that Amalek attacked. And they once said, we are attacking Bnei Yisrael. And who are attacking? The tiny weak points of Bnei Yisrael. And with that, they wanted to build up to destroy the whole Klal Yisrael. Hashem said to you, you've attacked my weak boys, my bad boys, off the face of the earth. This idea, this destructive force has to be destroyed. The easiest way to destroy it, the antidote to that is Torah, to always be simcha, to always be, that's why Purim is the antidote to Amalek, because we're simcha, we give shlach manas, we give presents to each other, we give money to the poor. We don't, we look at the good, we constantly spread the goodness and spread the light, and we don't focus on the tiny pimple of negativity that there is in all of us, and that's the mitzvah of Mechias Amalek, is to fight this destructive, negative attitude that's in the world, and bring the light of Torah and positive energy to the world, and it's not so. Torah is not racist at all. It's not fighting a nation. Oh, I forgot to say before, if the Torah was racist, you see the Gemara says the grandchildren of Haman became Rabbanim, became Gerim, and it became Tzaddikim. If we have to destroy a nation, if the Torah is racist, then how can the grandchildren of such a Rasha, become leaders of Klal Yisrael? Even some of the Nazis, their grandchildren became Gerim, and they're from Yidden today, yeah? Because the Torah is not racist at all. It's the idea, it's the destructive attitude that we have to destroy. It's not the human being that we have to destroy. And that's what we've got to find. That's what we've got to find. And that's the mitzvah of Mechias Amalek. So they to always see the good in each other and to build on that good and to only see the positive in each other. spread the light of Torah and positive energy. And Hashem, with the ultimate destruction of Molech, and Zecha to the Yom Shechazal Paul, the days of Mashiach, Yom Shekulat, the days where there's no negativity in the world. That's what Mashiach and Herod Yemenu. Amen.
Rabbi, go sit down. Just before I say the bracha achrona, there's a special Suda next week for Purim. I'll advertise details later in the week. Thank you again to Rabbi Davis. I'll say goodbye to those on Zoom, and I will